All right, I hope everybody is doing well today. My name is Saxon Baum, and I'm the VP of Investor Relations at Florida Funders. Just so that everybody knows, Florida Funders is an early stage venture capital firm located here in the great state of Florida with offices in Tampa and Miami, really with the goal to fund the best early stage technology companies all around the state of Florida, in the Southeast, and in the rest of the United States. So I'm so happy today to have a very exciting webinar. The webinar today is all about employee benefits for startups. And we've got a great crew here. We have Rachel Sapoznik with Sapoznik Insurance. And I'm going to give everybody's background here. But Rachel is a board member at Florida Funders and a great friend of mine. So we're so happy to be partnered with Sapoznik Insurance today on this. We have Doug Bransfeld as well, and we have Aaron Wilson. Just a little bit of background on Rachel. Rachel is the founder and president of Sapoznik Insurance, a world company. For the past 3 decades, Rachel relentlessly pursued her entrepreneurial vision to revolutionize employee benefits. A leading employee benefits expert, Sapoznik champions education and wellness initiatives that improve the lives of others while positively impacting the bottom line. With her published book, A Passion for Wellness, Healthy Employees, Healthy Bottom Line, she shares the importance of corporate wellness. Rachel has received numerous honors and is recognized as a passionate philanthropist, most recently appointed to the Jackson Health Foundation board. She's also, as I said, a board member of Florida Funders. Before I pass it over to Rachel, I just want to give Doug and Aaron's background really quickly. Doug is a senior human capital management consultant for the Florida region for ACE Workforce Technologies. He has 15 years of experience in the HR and payroll space, into services as a consultant for startup companies to large group employers. ACE Workforce Technologies provides a human capital management system backed by cutting-edge technology platform that helps companies streamline and automate processes. And then finally, we have Aaron Wilson. Aaron is the regional director of Florida at Human Interest, a company specializing in 401k programs for small to medium-sized businesses. Aaron has over 15 years of experience in the human capital management industry, with 9 specializing in retirement planning. He is passionate about ensuring financial independence for employees in all lines of work and has helped launch 401k programs for over 500 Florida businesses. He also works closely with CPAs and teaches 401k through CPA seminars. So we are so happy to have everybody. What we'll do is I'm going to kick it over to Rachel here. She is going to lead the conversation. And then what we'll do at the end here is we're going to do questions and answers. If everybody could hold their questions till the end, type those in the Q&A function or the chat function, and then I can ask our amazing panelists today. So without further ado, Rachel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Saxon. Welcome, everyone. Appreciate you spending time with us. Today, we're hoping to answer some questions about employee retention, recruiting, how we can help you when it comes to employee benefits, 401k, and payroll. Payroll is a key issue because obviously there's no company unless there's payroll. So I'm going to turn it over to Doug Bransfield right now, and he'll go through the payroll side of a startup company and get the ball rolling. So Doug, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Rachel. I always like being the lead-off hitter, as I always say. I'm gonna share my screen for a second. A little about me. I've been in payroll and HR, as said, for about 15 years. I started with a company which tech companies widely know as Intuit. Company makes QuickBooks and TurboTax. That's why I learned payroll and HR, and then I moved through to eventually work with groups above 50, work with partners like Rachel, groups of 100, 500, even to go up as far as 10,000. So that's a little bit about me and my background. So anything around payroll or HR generated, you can ask me. I have a couple of slides here. I'll get into a little bit about payroll and the technology around it. The thing is, why are we here today, right? We want to talk about value, the value proposition, right? Especially for startup companies. When you're a startup company, you're doing so many different jobs that the one thing you don't want to spend time on, or it's basically something that's not profit making for you, is payroll and HR. You want to kind of outsource these pieces. And that's what we're going to talk about as far as technology around payroll, benefits, retirement plans. I think that's where the three of us come in as a value proposition to let you do and focus on things that actually make money for your business. So let me just share my second screen here. Sorry, a little technical. Gotta love Microsoft. So the first piece I'm going to talk about is technology. And being startup tech firms, you know, you want to say, oh, what's the best technology out there for my business as I start? Maybe I'm 1 employee, maybe I'm 8 employees, maybe I'm 50, you know, maybe I'm going to grow to 300 in a couple of years. So what's the best avenue for me to go? And that's where it starts. I'm going to put my cursor on as payroll. When you're talking about payroll, obviously the most important thing is you want to pay your employees, be able to file your taxes, and have a system where, you have a peace of mind where all that's being taken care of. I work personally with the iSolve HCM platform. It's a very technologically advanced platform. It's probably one of the best 5 in the country right now. And it's got all the bits and pieces for when you're a company of 2 employees. As you grow to 30 to 50 to 100, it can be built. It's very customizable. As you see here, I'm focused on payroll. It's where it says it enables you, right? It enables you to pay your employees and file taxes and not worry about things. And as you grow, I'm going to use an example. Back when I was in California, that's why I started payroll. I had a beer company. You might know the name is Stone Ale. When I sat down with Stone Ale, just like you guys, some of the companies, they were 7 employees when I sat down with them and first, went over what their needs are, where they say they're going to grow. And the funny thing is they didn't know how fast they were going to grow. That's going back, almost 15, maybe 14 years ago. There were 8 employees. I think they're over 3,000 now. So they grew so fast that they needed tools, at their helm to handle that type of growth. And maybe you won't grow that fast, but maybe you'll grow from 8 to 25 to 50 to 75 to 100 to multi-stated. How do you do that? How do you, are you going to hire an HR director? Maybe you don't have the funding for that, but you need a system to attract new employees, right? So we have pieces around that are geared for you. As you grow, you can look for certain positions, whether it's an HR person, whether it's sales, whether it's a controller. So there are systems in place to help you attract talent, right? And one thing is once you attract it, you onboard it and you want to have the tools available, that maybe you're multi-stated where there's compliance issues. You want to make sure through the onboarding process, your employees get paid, their direct deposit gets set up, their benefit enrollment, their 401k. That's where I see the T in technology. You have to have something in place because even when you grow from 8 to 15 to 25, these are things like if you look at a COVID, we're just coming out of COVID where everything needed to be done remote. You couldn't have face-to-face conversations. We're doing Zoom meetings. So how do we do this? How do we grow inside a pandemic? And I've seen a lot of companies grow inside a pandemic using technology at their fingertips, stuff that I gave them, having the ability to have mobile and being able to clock in from another state, clocking your employees, time attendance, doing reviews, going back to benefit enrollment, these type of things. Now in this day and age, you need to have that non-touch technology inside your payroll and HR system. 15 years ago, there was nothing around like this. Everything was done by paper. Everything was hand to paper. Now, as we talk about tech firms, you want to have these things at your fingertips. We use our cell phones for everything. You could basically run a payroll and look at the reports, pay your employees, do everything through a mobile device now. I mean, I have companies that are paperless that do everything through mobile. And I think, that's the big thing in talking about the T in technology. The other pieces you see here, learn and grow. That's LMS systems. That's when you get bigger, when you're 50, 100 employees, when you want them to learn new products and services and you want to track them. I could put learning and management systems in there to make sure your employees are all on the same, on the same path. They see the same things. Share and perform. That's a new thing. That's like a, industry term for the last 5 years, where I guess the millennials need a lot of pats on their back, so to speak. So share and perform is, if they're doing a good job, give them some kudos, share and perform through the team. So these are all the technology pieces that, as you grow, you want in place before it actually happens, right? So that's where I think the value of using a system like iSolve and using, I will say, the technology and the partners to have that in front of you. Let me go to my other slide. Sorry, doing this manually here. Also, when you're talking about technology, people are worried about how do we get set up? Is it a hard process? Is it easy to use? Setups are very easy. I mean, companies that are under 50 employees, I could set you up inside 2 weeks. We do a lot of hand holding, a lot of service pieces. So it's not only the product, you want also the service and the delivery, the training, the on-site support, and ongoing support. Those are all at your fingertips as well. And across, my partners are going to say the same thing. We're all based on service. Service is a big thing. Training is a big thing, especially when you're coming from, maybe a small payroll to putting technology in place. And I think, this is just a slide I share with different groups. Having a partnership or having I guess a plan in place is a big thing when you're going from a small payroll to a growing payroll, adding benefits, adding 401ks. So having that partnership, that group, I think is just, it's a power team. So when you're only focused about your product and growing your company, and you need people for payroll, for HR, for benefits, and for, retirement plans, those type of things, having a team around you is just great. And I think that's where, that's where I'm going to kind of end this and put the partnership piece together. I think coming from talking about leading off, payroll starts everything, but then it filters to employee benefits. I think that's where Rachel takes over, and then we'll go into 401k. But that's really all I have on the payroll side. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to walk you through.
Great, thanks, Doug, and really appreciate that. I think, Rachel, you're gonna hop in there next.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Doug. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Doug, I think you have to unshare yours.
Yeah, Doug, if you want to stop sharing.
While we're waiting and having Doug take care of that, a couple things I think is important, especially as a startup. When we think about employee benefits and we think about recruiting and retention and how difficult it has been over the course of the last several months to really hire people, employee benefits become a key issue in that aspect of it.
You should be good to go there, Rick.
Okay. Okay. The employee benefits, can you guys see?
Yep. Yeah, we're good.
All right, perfect. Okay, employee benefits, before I move on to the 5 trends in employee benefits, differs all over the country. And if you are hiring people all around the country, which we can now through the remote process, you really need to have someone that understands what's going on over there. It opens up opportunities for you for retention and recruiting. And we're going to go over some of the trends that we're seeing on a national basis. Employees right now are very concerned for their safety. Because of COVID has opened up a whole avenue for younger employees to start to really think about what is the role of the employer and how can they help them when it comes to their health and well-being. More than half the employees now are concerned about their well-being, not only from a job work balance, but also mental health. While many employees are working from the home, what we have seen is an escalation of mental health issues. So when we're putting together an employee benefits program, we want to address those type of issues, and employees will start to feel that they're working for a company that does care about them. Another very big part of employee benefits, and a lot of times people think of employee benefits only as the health insurance and the life insurance, but really the employee benefits is a well-rounded program that also gives them an opportunity of flexibility. That also is part of an employee benefits program. So being able to work from the home is extremely becoming more and more popular, and having that flexibility. What we're trying to do also from an employee benefits standpoint is to evolve as to what are the true needs of the employee. Employee benefits in the past were one size fits all, and it's not how it works anymore. You've got multi-generations working at the same time. So you may have a generations X, or you may have a traditional employer, or you may have a baby boomer, all working at the same time and having different needs. So we need to be flexible in terms of our programs of how to put the benefits that meets the needs for those employees. Even social justice at this point, people are looking at that as a concern for them, and they want their employers to be participants in a proper attitude when it comes to justice issues. Now, the value of benefits is crucial. To replace an employee costs anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. So think about what the cost is when you have to replace that employee that quit, left the job because maybe the benefits were better somewhere else, or they didn't understand their benefits, or there wasn't a particular product that they needed that was being offered. Now, that cost to you, when you start to look at turnover, really bites into the bottom line. And that's why looking at employee benefits is so crucial, especially with a startup. You want to be able to put programs together that's going to be transparent to the employee, that you care about them, that helps them in their own well-being, in their own benefit package. We want to make sure that we are increasing the value for the employee from a holistic standpoint, which means it's not only just the physical, not just the mental, but many, many employees right now are very concerned about their financial and their financial well-being. And that becomes a crucial part of the total package. When you're looking at educating the employees, spending time and really putting together a proper presentation is essential. And what we have found to be very effective for employees is creating videos that explain each product, explain what the health insurance and how it works, explain access to the different programs that they have available to them. A lot of times employees have no idea how much you are spending on their benefits program, and they don't appreciate it until it's brought to their attention. So we are actively involved in setting up benefit statements. And in those benefit statements, it shows the employee what that employer is doing. And as a startup, you want those employees to really grow with you. And as they grow with you, they help drive the direction of the company, but they also help in terms of the profitability. And what we found is that those employees that truly understand their benefits and truly understand the value that you put on them are going to stay longer than those employees that have no idea of what their benefits are. Now, what are the top 10 that you must provide here? And I think it's very important to understand a few things. Obviously, medical insurance is very important. 85% of the employees won't even consider a job that's not providing medical insurance. Retirement planning, that is becoming more and more essential. Leaves, whether it's paid or unpaid leaves, 71% of the employees want that. Dental insurance, vision, life insurance. But one area that I want to bring to your attention is disability insurance. Why is that important? If you are recruiting employees from New York, from California, from Boston, from Connecticut, and you want them to work for you, it's important for you to understand that Florida does not provide disability insurance. They are used to getting disability insurance in their states. And it's a big issue for them when they're coming here and to find out that if they had an accident, if they have a serious illness, which now we have all been affected by COVID, and the state of Florida really does not provide the disability insurance that they are accustomed to in their states. You can make up that difference and become the employer of choice by educating them and showing them that you have addressed this issue. It's not expensive, it's pennies on the dollar, but it is a big concern for a lot of employees, especially as they've seen their colleagues taken down with COVID, young people that have been unable to work now for months and months and months with no paycheck because they didn't have disability insurance. And it will also help with recruiting and retention. Health savings accounts, understanding how they could use a health savings account and what a health savings account is, critical illness insurance and accident insurance. What we're also seeing is that young couples are making decisions not to have children. They are making a conscious decision not to have children, and they are making conscious decisions to have pets as part of their family. They look at them as family members. So pet insurance now is becoming as important to many people as their own medical insurance because the pet is a family member. And this is the way, again, that we're able to be creative with our employees and adjusting our benefit structure to their lifestyle. Now, the plan is, obviously, we want to build a foundation, and that is the starting point. It's understanding the demographics, understanding the type of employees you have, and putting a program that they could choose from. You do have the ability to have programs that will give your employees choices. The next part is what's called an employee assistance program. These are now becoming top of mind because of mental health issues. And employee assistance programs help employees gravitate and find programs that will help them adjust, whether they're adjusting to a new state, whether they're adjusting to a recent divorce, whether they're adjusting to death in the family. These programs are incorporated to help the employees. And I mentioned before, mental health programs via telemedicine now is becoming extremely important. Pharmacy benefits are now being able to find the costs that they can find affordable through an app. And the technology is using in giving employees the ability to find pharmaceutical cost reductions by driving costs down through these apps that are out there like GoodRx. Obviously, foundational type of plans, once you have medical insurance, should include dental insurance and vision. And people want to make sure that they're protected. So if they have an accident or a hospitalization, they want to make sure that those things are being taken care of. Critical illness. We've had many accidents just on recently with the advent of those mopeds that are going around the cities now, that people get into those accidents, they become critical illness issues. So they want to make sure that those are being taken care of. 1 in 4 employees is going to be diagnosed with cancer. It's 1 in 4. So if you're a startup company and you've got 5 or 6 employees, one of them will eventually have cancer and have to deal with it. And as I mentioned before, disability insurance. What we really want to do is provide the plan, give the employees the choices that they need so that they know that they're working for a company that understands their growth potential and is looking at the long haul, looking at them staying and having them be part of the infrastructure of the company that you're building. Because the last thing you want to do each time you train somebody, as I mentioned before, is to replace that person and start all over again. So the plan is crucial in being able to deal with employees and longevity. Where do you start? So where do you start is really having a game plan. Use a broker that will be able to help you. Small group, and I think a lot of people don't understand that, especially if you have under 50 employees. The state of Florida has already mandated commissions. So whatever it is that's being charged is mandated by the state. There's no choices in terms of commission structure. So pick the broker that's going to help you and put together the budget and show you how they can put a plan together for employees maybe in Florida or outside of Florida. Communicate. A lot of companies don't spend the time communicating the benefits. It's one of the second largest items that you'll be spending money on is your employee benefits. And yet most employers only give employees 15 minutes of education on their health insurance, on their life insurance, on their disability insurance, on their 401k. My recommendation is once a year to allow your employees to really understand their plan. Having them understand that plan gives you more value. Having them understand a plan also helps them utilize it in a proper manner to help reduce claims costs, because if they're using it properly, they're avoiding unnecessary emergency room visits. And constantly looking at it, the plans as they change and evolve, being in front of the coin to be able to give them what they need, which includes wellness. Part of a good education program is educating your employees about their wellness, going into for their wellness visits, making sure they're taking care of themselves so that they can continue to grow with you. A lot of times people think about, how can I get the best talent? How can I have people come work with me, but I can't afford and I can't compete with the salaries out there? Get creative. A lot of times if you are looking at a best practices, PTO time is very, very much appreciated, and people will take jobs based on PTO. They also take a look at the wellness perks that are available. There are companies out there that provide additional benefits for those employees that are working on themselves from a wellness standpoint. They are giving them stipends. They're giving them additional benefits on the wellness side of it. If you're finding yourselves having an actual office, on-site quiet rooms are also an area where employees are appreciating from a meditation standpoint, yoga standpoint. They're looking at work-life balance, and this helps them stay at their jobs longer. There's programs out there that help student debt. So we've got programs out there that can help employees reduce their student debt through consolidations, which again is something that they very much appreciate. A lot of times people will ask me, well, what should I budget for medical insurance? And I try to give it to them from an hourly standpoint. So approximately, if you look from a budgetary standpoint for medical insurance, if you budget about $3 an hour on a full-time person, that would cover the medical side of your employee. And that's something to think about. $3 an hour versus having to replace someone that doesn't stay because you don't have medical insurance. That is a kind of a rule of thumb that will help you in terms of hiring and retaining top talent. And, I want to just say thank you at this time and let you know that as you grow, you will see that employee benefits will become more and more important, particularly when you're getting employees in the C space. But your staff also becomes very, very important to you from a growth standpoint. So I hope that some of these tips will help you out, and happy to answer questions later on. We're going to be rolling this over now to Aaron to talk about 401k.
Perfect. Thank you, Rachel. So while I get set up here, let's share the screen. Perfect.
And just real quick before Aaron jumps in, if anybody has questions, just throw those in the chat function or the Q&A function, and then we'll have our experts answer those after Aaron gets done here.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Florida Funders, for having us here today. Rachel, thank you for putting it together. It's always good to see you, Doug. Today we're going to talk about how 401k benefits are going to be beneficial and utilizing to maximize your business success. Okay. So, again, I'm the regional director for Florida. I also have a partner account manager down in South Florida by the name of Lynette Rodriguez. Shout out to you, Lynette. I'm pretty sure you're out there. But together, we have a combined 25 years of experience helping small to medium-sized businesses with 401k, which is pretty wild. So if you're looking for someone who understands it and doesn't fall asleep when reading about it, that's us. We're nerds with that stuff. So let's get into it. To understand more about human interests and why 401k is an important benefit, we should first explore how we got here. Thanks to evolving technology in medicine and medical care, we are living longer, which means we're outliving Social Security, which is currently depleting at a rapid rate. And there's still many small businesses that think 401ks are expensive and hard to manage, and only for the big blue chip companies like the Amazons or the Cokes or Pepsis. This leads to a retirement crisis at hand. There's over 67 million hardworking Americans that do not have access to a retirement benefit. So while the average American has less than $50,000 saved for retirement, which means 77% of Americans are not on track to have sufficient savings to retire by 67. This is a problem that we're here to solve. Our founders, Paul Sawaya and Roger Lee, came from small business themselves. They had a company, they had employees, they wanted to provide a 401k benefit for them. They felt the industry was full of high costs and administrative burdens and thought, let's make it better. So they came together and they won the Y Combinator in 2015 out of San Francisco, rebranded to Human Interest in 2018 for better alignment with our mission. And fast forward to the end of last year of 2020, where we finalized our Series C funding, and now we are expanding across the country at a rapid rate. With our mission, we look to leverage this technology we built to disrupt the stale industry in 401k. But we do it by simplifying it and make it more accessible for everyone. So our mission is to ensure that all walks of life have access to a dignified retirement. By leveraging this technology that we've done, we automate the 401k process, delivering a positive employer experience. We actually plug into the payroll and have employee information updating back and forth. This saves you, the plan sponsor, the small business, the HR lady, the payroll person, many headaches in managing this benefit. Also, as a fully bundled solution, instead of using multiple vendors like the legacy 401k providers do to put together a 401k, we do all the 401k parts in-house, which is important to you because this efficiency actually comes with cost savings. So since 2015, Human Interest has grown to over 300 employees now. It's insane. I was like an employee 100. We serve over 100 different industries. We have over 80,000 participants in our 401k. We launched and serviced over 3,000 plans. We have a very large participation rate versus the industry average sitting at 70%. And we're the highest rated 401k on Google and G2. So some trends that we're seeing out there, I figured we'd take a moment and share with you. 3 key trends we're seeing in the 401k industry is employees, young and old, are focusing on their financial future now more than ever. Employers are now expected to provide a pathway to savings, and retirement benefits help with employee recruiting and retention. The battle for the good human capital out there is at an all-time high. There are many choices that people can go. Let's go to the first trend. Most employees are focusing on their financial future more now than ever. The average retirement savings balances saw an increase of 11% from the year before. We're also seeing that younger employees are saving. The number of new accounts Gen Z has opened has tripled. The younger demographics have lived through or experienced to some extent 9/11, the Great Recession after the banks melted down, and now a pandemic which included a lockdown. They are saving and asking for this benefit. There is a high expectation from employees that the employer should provide the path to retirement. And you'll see a breakdown by different generations here on the slide. And all employers have a responsibility to help their employees adequately save and to ensure that their savings last through retirement. This is becoming a high expectation. The third trend is 401k helps with employee recruitment and retention. 4 out of 5 say they want benefits more than a pay raise. Increased wages comes with increased taxes for both the employer and employee. Just want to remind you of that. 401k is the second asked for benefit outside of medical. Rachel showed that earlier. I'm glad I was correct in my slide. I'm just kidding. But it's great to be number 2. 62% of workers say 401k is an important benefit. 88% of workers say a 401k is a must-have when looking for a new job. So the question I have for anyone out there is, do you have a 401k plan currently for that highly coveted candidate that you want to bring over so they can roll over their current 401k balance, right? Question I always hear is, when is a good time for a new business to set up a 401k? Now is the time. If you're a company that wants to grow and develop into a scalable business, attracting top talent and keeping the employees happy and productive as your primary concern, or employees both can secure tax benefits through 401ks. Younger employees can benefit by creating a sound retirement fund as early as possible and taking advantage of a longer time horizon for compounding interest. We are eliminating the roadblocks that keep people from a path to retirement. We lean into a few programs that help make sure a 401k is affordable for the small business owner. There's Secure Act tax credits. There's money from the government, free money. As a tech-forward SaaS company, Human Interest, we're able to give tech rebates to our clients. And through our partnerships, we waive setup fees. More on the Secure Act tax credit. Think about it this way. The government's willing to pay upwards to half of your 401k plan expenses, your admin expenses, upwards to $5,000 a year. And there's an additional $500 tax credit allowed if you did what's called automatic enrollment. So you can get as high as $5,500 per year. But stay connected to us. Secure Act 2.0 is out. It's on the horizon. And it's bringing additional tax benefits for all employers. This is going to be very exciting. So stay tuned to hear more. Lastly, here's how Human Interest can help. Our value proposition has helped us rapidly grow because we leverage this technology with our payroll partners to deliver an ease of administration through what's called a no-touch integration. We're a fully bundled solution that results in transparent and lower costs and a positive employee experience that results in high employee engagement with this benefit. Our participation rate sits at 70%, which is 2x the national average that sits around 34%. We do the heavy lifting, plain and simple. Technology, we automate the process. And this is all to keep it off of your plate. A benefit shouldn't be a burden. And the heavy lifting, look at all these things that a plan sponsor would have to do. And believe me, I'm not going to spend the next 45 minutes to read each bullet point. But you don't have to worry about selecting the funds or how do your employees, are they going to invest, or how do I get a beneficiary form or sign a 5,500, or what happens with how do I upload payroll files? We do the heavy lifting. We're in it for you guys. And we benchmark very well against the competitors out there, bringing savings to you and more into your pocket of your employees. Zero transactions means we're the first to the marketplace that we don't have transactions with costs with taking a loan out. Sometimes people, when they're down, they got to get access to their money, they pay fees. We're the first to eliminate that. More details can be found. But thank you for your time. I have Lynette's email there. You can find both of us on LinkedIn. Would love to stay in touch and answer any questions that you have. So I'll just kick it back over to you guys. Rachel, Saxon, thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Aaron, thank you so much. Doug and Rachel, we appreciate everything. We do have some questions here. Why not just dive right into them? And once again, use the chat or the Q&A function for questions. Here's a question, and you guys can field as appropriate. When starting to offer benefits, what benefits would you suggest being employer paid, and which one should be paid voluntarily? Rachel, that might be a good one for you.
Sure. So from an employer standpoint, you want to contribute to the health insurance. You don't have to pay the whole thing, but you want to pay at least 50%. Dental insurance can be voluntary. You want to give employees a little bit of life insurance, and then disability can also be voluntary because we educate the employees that if they have disability insurance and they're being payroll deducted, then at the time of claim, those benefits are tax-free. And that usually makes it more logical for them to purchase those things. But the real core crux of the benefits is the health insurance as your key driver. And then as you become more and more successful, you can then add more contributions.
Great, thanks. Aaron, I have a question for you on the 401k side. A lot of people ask us about 401ks and how they work and if they should be using them. From an employee perspective, if you have a 401k plan, are you the one actually picking the investment opportunities?
Absolutely. Great question. As a business owner, I would never want to tell my employees how to save their money or how to allocate their investments. That's called a 321 fiduciary. That is something that you don't want to do. We have all the tools available for you for employees to take risk tolerance questions and make the determination themselves on how to invest the money through a robo advisor, if you would. So we created an algorithm that does the same thing financial advisors do by asking those questions, so on, and risk tolerance, and then they get a asset allocation model. So definitely let the employees make those decisions themselves.
Great, thanks. And then Doug, a question for you. Something big in technology in terms of recruiting is corporate culture. Can you talk a little bit about how companies can really show off their corporate culture to maybe help them recruit more effectively?
Yeah, I think one is having the tools, right? When you bring somebody in, I mean, first going back about applicant tracking to find the employee, right? Once you bring them in, giving them through the onboarding process, having the tools to do everything electronically, to actually talk to other employees in different regions through maybe an employee self-service or a payroll tool. So employee engagement is like the big industry term now to keep employees engaged. And I think just having the technology, the tools around them, makes them appreciate their company too, that they're actually spending money in the employees. And I think that's a big thing. Employees see that, whether it's payroll or whether it's bringing in good benefits or a good retirement system. I think that the big thing is the company spending money on those three aspects makes an employee feel, well liked. So, and that makes an employee happy, and that's how you retain employees in general.
Thanks. Rachel, this is a little bit more of a technical question, but I know we do get this a lot from our founders. Can you explain open enrollment, how that sort of works, and what key decisions need to be made from an employee perspective during that process?
Sure. So open enrollment is the time where employees can come onto their health insurance if they did not come on during their original enrollment. Each year, open enrollment is also when the employer typically will choose the benefits for the upcoming year and provide for them a detailed explanation. So it's a key issue to have a good open enrollment so that those employees that now maybe want to go onto the benefits have an opportunity. And I use open enrollment for my clients as a time to pat my clients on the back for their employees to understand that the corporation is spending this money for their good health. And this is really a time that they could take advantage of it. Open enrollments are crucial to good employee benefits.
Awesome. This is, I'd like to ask a question and get a specific answer from each one of you in sort of your respective fields. A lot of startup companies, they tend to push off these types of services and benefits. Can you all sort of give, at what point should companies be thinking about implementing, whether it's benefits on the healthcare side, Rachel, whether it's a 401k, whether it's sort of HCM tools for you, Doug? Like, at what point should companies start thinking about this, or is it right when they start?
You know, a company needs to decide, a person needs to decide, is this company going to grow? Is this company going to be something that you're going to dedicate your time to build? And if it is, then that's the time to start employee benefits, even for yourself. So you need to have something there to recruit the proper people to get your company to where you want to get it to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off that real quick. Rachel nailed it on the head. I mean, if you're doing the business, it's scalable, definitely earlier the better. Human capital is huge right now. I mean, you're seeing a lot of industries right now having a hard time acquiring staffs, and they're coming to us in droves to put a 401k plan, like restaurants. You never would imagine that, right? So right. As a business, if you're looking to grow, it's all about recruiting that quality talent. And again, if you're recruiting people from California, from New York, they're coming from a company that already has those benefits in place. Do you have something here that they can roll over into? Typically, business owners will wait until there's a tax implication, kind of late, to leverage a 401k. What's in it for me, right? There is a huge tax component, but you can also start a 401k without a match just to get something going, and later through the year amend it to incorporate a match. So there's ways that you can phase your benefits in and adapt them as your business needs change. But from the beginning, I believe the sooner the better if you're trying to get that quality talent.
Yeah, and I'll end it on that too. I mean, that goes back to human capital, the piece I talked about, applicant tracking, right? Trying to get the best talent out there. When you're using systems like that, you know, we'll help you build out templates for the positions you're trying to fill, and then we'll shoot them out to different websites, you know, whether it's Career Builder, LinkedIn, all these things you see on TV, the job finders, where you actually have a system out there trying to find your talent while you're trying to work and grow your business. So you don't actually have to pay an HR director to kind of do that and kind of go through the interview process. So I gotta agree with my two partners here. I think you got to start right from the beginning. If you're going to grow your business and you're going to put in a lot of time in it, having the tools for yourself to build it at the same time. Not only employees having tools, but you're going to need tools as an owner beforehand to bring all those employees in.
Great. And those are all the questions we have. Any more comments from our three panelists here?
One thing I'd just like to mention is that when building your company, health insurance is something that will help you and make sure that your employees stay with you. So you're entrepreneurs, you're creating something amazing, and you want to be able to continue to grow. And there's a lot of options out there. So don't be afraid to ask, and you will find the right solution that works for your employees and works for your pocketbook.
Great. Well, I wanted to thank everybody for being here today. Rachel, thank you so much for partnering with Florida Funders and everything you do for us. So really appreciate it. Both Doug and Aaron really enjoyed the conversation today. If anybody has any questions, you can easily reach these three or just reach out to me, Saxon at Florida Funders, and I can connect you. We will also post this recording on our blog and share it on social media. So once again, thank you to everybody. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see everybody here soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.